John Marston is easily Rockstar's favourite character. The guy's been playable in not one, not two, but 3 Rockstar games now. That is completely unheard of for them. You could even argue that Red Dead 2's whole story was all just to make John's story an even bigger tragedy, which then is insane considering how few people have actually played this game compared to 2. The most recent figures say that Red Dead 2 accounts for 74% of all sales in the series, leaving the other 3 games, Red Dead 1, Revolver and Nightmare, making up the other 26%. So just a fraction of Red Dead 2 players have ever actually experienced how the story ends. That is crazy to me, especially considering how good that story is. But before I talk about the ending to John's story, there's a lot of other things that Red Dead 1 did really well that a lot of people don't really seem to appreciate. If this vid pisses anyone off, it's probably going to be this next segment, but this game was before Rockstar decided every 6 steps they had to take away all control from the player, slow you down to a crawl, not let you get your weapons out, not let you run around. Every mission has a kind of, you cannot ride your horse here, you cannot use your weapons here, you cannot run here. Constant restrictions. They're so scared of anything glitching or anything going wrong that they essentially plug in and unplug your controller constantly. So after playing Red Dead 2 and later Rockstar Games GTA 5, you realise how much freedom Red Dead 1 gives you. You can sprint whenever you want, you can shoot all the time, you can fling Abigail through a window. Like, having your controller constantly taken away from you is annoying. Please just let me run around. So my point is, this game remembered it was a game. Even the outfits are more video gamey. You don't just buy them, you have to unlock them, aside from the one you buy. It was a great way of making the player see parts of the world and just do things otherwise they would never have done. Red Dead 1 has 2 different ponchos. Red Dead 2 has 0. You have to mod them in. This makes Red Dead 1 the better game. The horses in Red Dead 1, I thought were great. You get through them pretty quick, actually. Accidentally shooting your horse, I thought it was fucking hilarious. I don't know why they took it out of the game. I have a clip of me just absolutely destroying my microphone the first time I did it, because I forgot it was even possible. Just a few cows. Oh no, I shot my horse! Oh man! And they killed the guy. You also used to be able to skin your own horse and sell the pelt for like $1. So gameplay-wise, there's some good stuff. But in my opinion, you play this game to experience the characters and the story they're involved in. Like, some of the missions can be a bit slow. Drive a wagon here and back. Herd these cattle across the entire fucking map. You know? But the characters carry you through those missions. Even the less interesting missions. Driving Abigail to meet Miss McFarlane didn't feel like a chore, because hearing them talk about their old lives and all that is actually genuinely interesting.
How do you do?
Hello to you, sir.
Sí. Hola. Buenas. Hola.
Hay fuerzas. Perhaps you're more in need of my help than I thought.
Red Dead 1 John Marston had an element of sadness to him. He was a bit of a sad boy. You get the sense he spends a lot of time just in his own head. Realizing your entire life was a lie and then having to mentally start over from scratch would probably do that to you. Which is why I think John was a very well-considered character. Part of the fun of Red Dead 1 was listening to the dialogue and trying to unwrap the enigma that is John. Getting these small insights into John's past through the "you always was" dialogue.
You always did think I was an idiot. You always were one for fancy words. You always did have a high opinion of yourself, John. Dutch always said you were an arrogant son of a bitch. You always was weak-minded. You always was a traitor.
And you always was a dumb inbred hick.
We were only getting a glimpse at the end of a very long story. But now that we've seen a huge chunk of John's past, I think that probably changes how players experience this game. That detective work just isn't there anymore. I think every player would have had a slightly different idea in their head what John's gang was like. Like, I thought they would have been way more violent. Given Bill is an absolute maniac. They wouldn't be Bill tier, but they might be more towards Bill tier. You know what I mean? So one of the big themes of the game is the changing times. There's a really good cutscene about it. I kind of ruined it because John was wearing a fucking YMCA outfit, but...
Hello? Hello? It's Armadillo 731. What is it with these things? Hello? It's a new line. Hello? Hello?
Sounds fun. What's happening?
I have no idea. Yeah, if it's important, they'll send someone down like they did with you.
Suddenly the world is full of days.
Yeah. I remember when we first got here. We used to consider people from Dade County to be exotic. Now guys can get here from the Midwest, and they can do it in 6 days.
Things have changed.
They've gotten away from me. Hello?
I don't understand it no more, boy. Honest goodness.
And when you enter Blackwater, you get this creepy music, and it represents John's feelings about the place. He's not a fan of all this civilization shit, but he's willing to become a part of it anyway for the sake of his family. Towards the end of the game, you hear this song a lot, and it kind of makes you feel like something's not right, like you're on borrowed time, which is perfect for the situation. Now I'm gonna talk about the big ending. The first time I saw it, I thought I messed up. I was like, why is it taking so long to reload the checkpoint? I thought it was like one of them Resident Evil deaths with the long cutscenes, like the horrible cutscenes. I've seen people on their first playthrough misunderstand the ending, like thinking John died by accident. If John wanted to kill them all, he would just chuck dynamite out the top of the barn. John made the decision to not chuck dynamite out the top of the barn, to give up his own future so his family could keep theirs. John has killed and hurt so many people, so many horses, that him living out his life peacefully, it probably wouldn't be very fair. But it's also kinda hard to blame John for falling into the life that he did. Running wasn't an option, the government are too powerful. And it would have meant giving up the farm, and the cows, the dog. By choosing to die, he leaves his family behind with a decent life. Or at least that was the plan. It doesn't quite work out like that, because soon after, Abigail dies, and then Jack is alone in the world. And he's angry.
Whatever happens, keep the doors locked and your mother inside. Promise me, son. Promise me.
Who is it, Pa?
It's just some old friends. Me and Uncle take care of it. Now you go inside and you keep the doors and the windows locked.
I hear you.
Then run!
Yeah, run, boy.
Well, old man, looks like things is about to get settled once and for all.
So it seems.
You best get that gun ready, old man.
For the love of God!
Years later, Jack, unable to move on, decides to avenge his father's death by murdering a now retired Edgar Ross. As much as I'd want to spend more time with Jack in a sequel, I would hate for him to get one. We know Jack's ending the second he kills Ross. That's why the game ends there, nothing more needs to be said. By killing Ross, Jack becomes an outlaw in a world where outlaws can no longer exist. His fate is sealed. My final fight was so anticlimactic. Ross is meant to dramatically fall backwards into the river, but on my playthrough, fuck's sake, that was so shit. Also, I have to shout out Uncle. Despite John being so mean to him all the time, threatening to kill him all the time, Uncle still stayed and fought to protect John's family. In hardcore mode, the fucking second bullets start flying, Uncle immediately goes down. I'm hit! But we still respect Uncle in this house, AJ. What? Uncle, they're not even here yet. If you're a PC gamer and you've played Red Dead before, I'd seriously recommend playing on hardcore mode. Your gameplay has to be tight because you go down so fast. I could probably take more damage in real life. It makes getting shot like actually a bad thing, something you've actually got to try and avoid. In the regular game, John can just get shot so much and it doesn't even mean anything. You half expect him to get back up after the ending. But that's Red Dead 1. I love this game, if it's not obvious. I think John Marston's a really cool character. I will now leave you with the secret John Marston lore, known only to the biggest Red Dead gamers.
That John Marston used to be a hired killer for the Jews, you know?